but I don't care. I fight anybody, and I fight all my entire life, anybody.
There's too many world champions in the sport of boxing. And it's crazy.
I don't think he'll want to lose to Crawford, a much smaller guy, just because he's at the end of the road. But the fight's so big and the money's so big, he's going to have to take it.
Canelo gave a savage response when asked about Crawford training with Mayweather. Unbothered, he made it clear he doesn't care who Crawford trains with. Confident in his lifelong experience, Canelo said he's been fighting his whole life and is ready for anyone, regardless of their height or who's in their corner.
Which fight was more difficult between Mayweather or Bivol, and why?
I think both are similar. Just Bivol is bigger, so I think Bivol.
Eddie Hearn offered insight into Canelo Álvarez's mindset ahead of his fight with Terence Crawford. According to Hearn, Canelo is fiercely determined not to lose to someone from a lighter division. Pride plays a major role, but the financial stakes are also significant. While the size difference could benefit Canelo, Hearn stressed that he isn't underestimating Crawford. Canelo is training intensely, fully aware that a loss to a smaller opponent could severely damage his legacy. He's approaching the bout with focus and urgency, knowing what's at stake both professionally and personally.
I think he'll want to lose to Crawford, a much smaller guy, just because he's at the end of the road. But the fight's so big and the money's so big, he's going to have to take it. I bet he retires after that fight.
No, really?
Yeah. Why would you carry on? Like, you fight Crawford. Who else is there for Canelo Álvarez to fight?
David Benavidez, yeah.
But he's not gonna. He's like the size of Benavidez. And he's Benavidez is going to come back to 68. I don't know. Like, again, the same thing. I don't think Canelo would want to lose to Benavidez because he's not the fighter he was. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of pride for those guys. So he's made a huge amount of money. I don't know. Look, maybe it was just fighting in Saudi, the negative opponent, all this kind of stuff. But I was sitting next to Bud for the whole fight, and I was thinking, I think you'll probably beat him. You know,
wow.
Don't get me wrong. It's a very tough fight for both. Great fight, but the movement of Terence Crawford and the ring IQ, and he looks like, in my opinion, a younger, fresher fighter, even though they're both 36 and 38. It's amazing.
I know I don't have much time left with you, Eddie. I just wanted just a quick follow-up on that. When you were watching the fight with Bud, what was he telling you when he was watching it round by round by round?
Well, we had the fight very close.
Floyd Mayweather has fully backed Terence Crawford, helping him prepare for the highly anticipated showdown with Canelo. During training, Floyd was clearly impressed by Crawford's discipline and precision, even calling him the best boxer in the world today. Their sessions showed strong mutual respect and belief in Crawford's potential. Mayweather's support isn't just friendly encouragement, it's a powerful endorsement. He genuinely believes Crawford can achieve something extraordinary against the naturally bigger Canelo. This backing from a boxing legend sends a loud and clear message. Crawford has what it takes to make history.
Right now, in your opinion, who's the best fighter in the world?
We can put Tank up there in the top 10 in power power. He has to be somewhere in power power. And Canelo done something that is amazing when Canelo was able to go to light heavyweight and become light heavyweight champion. Something that I didn't even see him going up that heavy, and he did that. So, but as of right now, I have to put Terence Crawford as number one.
Floyd Mayweather didn't hold back when discussing Canelo Álvarez's abilities, downplaying the challenge of beating him. He suggested Canelo lacks the complexity and unpredictability seen in elite fighters. Drawing from his own experience in the ring with Canelo, Floyd emphasized that he didn't find the Mexican star particularly difficult to defeat. While his comments may seem harsh, they underscore his strong confidence in Terence Crawford's chances and reflect how highly he rates Crawford's skill heading into the fight.
It's really that they don't want, it's not that they don't want to see Tank win because they feel like it's beating me because I dominated the fight game for so long. But these same writers out here, they praise Canelo. He can pick and choose who he want to fight. And I'm going to tell y'all the truth about Canelo. Motherfucker, easy, man. Cakewalk, easy. Y'all sitting up here, y'all praising this dude. This dude was nothing. I was almost 40 years old when I cooked this dude. Easy. Canelo's a hell of a fighter. There's a lot of great Mexican fighters. That's not for me to rate fighters. I just take my hat off to so many fighters that paved the way, you know, for me to be where I'm at, just, you know, throughout life. Canelo's a hell of a fighter.
While Floyd Mayweather has been vocal about Canelo, Terence Crawford has taken a more respectful tone when speaking about Mayweather. He's made it clear that surpassing Floyd's records or challenging him isn't part of his goal. Instead, Crawford admires what Mayweather achieved and sees him as an icon of the sport. His approach reflects both ambition and humility, showing deep respect for those who came before him in boxing.
Have you thought about going for 51-0, beat Mayweather's record with 50-0? Is that something that you thought about?
I already said I was never gonna beat Mayweather record. That's not something that I wanted to do. To be honest, I was gonna retire if I didn't get this Errol Spence fight.
But I know how you is. You be sizing niggas up, bro. Keep it a stack. Did you in your head size up Floyd? Like, you know what I'm saying? If we was ever keep it real, keep it real.
I'm never that type of guy. I think that's some grimy shit. Always been happy for him, been a fan of his, and I never imagined us fighting.
Yeah.
I never looked at him like, man, I know I'll beat it.
But you capping, bro. I never thought like fantasy fight me versus Floyd, nah?
Never. I never just was with a person and looked at him like, man, I'll beat it. Never. That's some hate type shit to me.
Like plotting.
Yeah, I ain't never been that type of person there.
Trainer Stephen Edwards shared his thoughts on how Terence Crawford could succeed against Canelo Álvarez. He highlighted Crawford's exceptional boxing IQ and his ability to make smart adjustments in the later rounds as key strengths. While Canelo holds advantages in size and power, Edwards believes Crawford's sharpness and strategic mindset as the fight progresses could tip the scales. He praised Crawford's evolving style, noting that it becomes more effective over time, potentially catching Canelo off guard if the bout goes the full distance.
How he adjusts to everything. We can just adjust to anything in the fight. He's a great fighter.
Do you feel like he's got any advantages early over Canelo?
Sure. Better stamina, better conditioning, better feet. I think obviously Canelo's the harder puncher, probably the stronger guy, but I think he has more dexterity, more agility. He's going to be better in the later rounds. He's a little taller, his arms are longer. I think he got a lot of advantages.
Do you think that, do you see any point in the fight where Crawford not being able to hurt Canelo just gets walked down? That's been the consensus overall before Canelo's last fight. A lot of people saying that Crawford may be able to do something early, but there's going to be a point where he gets hit, gets hurt.
I disagree with that. I think Crawford's going to be the stronger fighter in the later rounds. I think the early part of the fight is where he got to be careful at. I think the early part of the fight he could get clipped if he's not careful. But I think the later rounds, I think he functions better in the later rounds than Canelo does. Karan Davis has a great fight versus Yoeli Hernandez on the same card that Caleb fight. That's probably going to be fight of the night. It's going to be a great fight.
He retired briefly. Real quick. Chiron did. I remember wishing him
that was an April Fool's thing. You guys felt.
He got me on the April Fool's. Chiron, you dirty for that, my boy.
Yeah, he got
Veteran promoter Bob Arum shared mixed feelings about the Canelo versus Crawford matchup. While he admitted the fight would be a major spectacle, he voiced concern over Canelo's recent performances, questioning whether the Mexican star is still fighting for the love of the sport or just for financial gain. Arum pointed out that Canelo hasn't shown the same energy or entertainment value over the past 2 years. In contrast, he sees Crawford entering the ring with something to prove, while Canelo might be showing up more for the payday than the legacy.
I just think he's getting a little older, and he's just like, man, I'm not going to chase this guy around the ring like that. The guy's skull fought awful, man. That was a horrible performance. You know what I mean? I know some of it's on Canelo too, but
He said he thought he won.
yeah, I mean, what is he supposed to say? I don't ever want to see a guy like that fight again, man. I like boxers, but that was bad.
And talk to us about the thin line between running and actual ring generalship. Where do you draw the line as a
Great
coach?
generalship in boxing is a guy that's trying to apply his offense and score points and win the fight. A guy that's running is just simply trying to run the clock out. That's why he's called running. He's running the clock out just so he can get a decision and get a moral victory. He has no interest in scoring points and winning the fight. His only interest is not taking any punishment and not being hit at all. So he's willing to sacrifice all of his offense to win the fight just so he can say he didn't get knocked out. So what Shakur and Devin do, that's not running, that's boxing. You know what I mean? It may not be crowd friendly, but they're boxing. They're landing punches. They're hitting you more than you're hitting them. They're applying point scoring while they're just not taking a lot of punches. What William Skull was doing, he was running around the ring just like waiting for the rounds to end just so he can go 12 rounds and just see,
Boxing journalist Dan Rafael highlighted the broader significance of the Canelo versus Crawford fight. For him, it's not just about pay-per-view numbers, but about creating real excitement and delivering a matchup that truly matters. Rafael believes this kind of high-stakes event keeps boxing relevant and attracts casual fans who might otherwise look away. He sees it as a major positive, a rare clash between two elite champions from different divisions, each bringing their own unique skill set to the ring.
I think Terence Crawford is a marvelous boxer, arguably the best in the world, pound for pound. But can you hurt Canelo? If you can't hurt him, I have no doubt he can outbox him. My issue is, if you can't hurt him, what kind of a challenge can you truly pose? What do you say to that?
No, that's a great point. I mean, here's the thing. Canelo Álvarez has a historically great chin. Now, I go way back when he first came to the United States and started boxing, and he found himself on an HBO pay-per-view undercard years and years ago, fighting against the older brother of the great Miguel Cotto. His name was Jose Miguel Cotto, and he had gotten a ton of hype. He had signed with Golden Boy Promotions and a lot of those of us in the media. And I had seen him a couple of times before that. This is my first time seeing him in person, really paying close attention. And he almost got knocked out in the first round. And I remember Stephen A. almost looking around at Media Row going, what the heck is this all hyped about? This man can't take a shot. He's going to get drilled. He was lucky that the fight was over, that the round was over at round one, or there might have been so much more trouble. Stephen A., that was 16, 17 years ago. I've never seen him wobbled, rocked, physically, visibly hurt since then. He has an all-time great chin going in the ring with tremendous punchers. Terence Crawford coming up 2 weight classes, do any damage. Yeah, he's a slick boxer, and he's also a good puncher in the welterweight division, in the junior welterweight division, in the lightweight division. But even at junior middleweight, which is where Terence Crawford had his most recent fight back in August, when he moved up and he won a world title, he didn't blow the doors off. He fought a very tough, solid opponent named Israel Madrimov. He gave a good fight. It was very close. Madrimov's people seem to think he might have even been able to edge it out. But if you can't hurt an Israel Madrimov at 154, what the heck are you going to do with Canelo Álvarez, the sturdiest guy in the world, at 168? So that aspect of it is certainly a problem. You mentioned about Charlo. Charlo was there to get his check. I know one thing about Terence Crawford. He's not going to just come to turn up to get the check. He'll at least try. And Charlo, I don't think really...
Renowned analyst Teddy Atlas voiced strong support for Terence Crawford amid criticism over his decision to move up in weight. Atlas argued that the jump in division doesn't lessen Crawford's potential. In fact, he believes Crawford's footwork and ring IQ are more than capable of handling the challenge. Dismissing the skepticism as unwarranted, Atlas sees Crawford's move not as overconfidence, but as a natural progression for a fighter of his talent, ambition, and hunger for greatness.
He's human. So he had a few hiccups. He won the fight. He's Terence Crawford. A lot of people say, "Oh, Teddy, you make him so good. You're always saying how great Crawford is." But who's he beating? He unified the what was his first division? Lightweight. Then he unified the junior. Then he unified the junior welter. Then he unified the welter. I think I got the weight classes right. It doesn't matter. He unified 3 different weight classes. He moved up in weight. There's a title he's saying it. I look at him. Look, Canelo's special too. I get it. And he's bigger. I get that too. And everyone's going to say, well, after Madrimov fight again, had a couple hiccups. Now he's stepping up another weight class. Now he's got to fight Canelo, who's even bigger, stronger, better puncher. A unified champion that he's been. All of that stuff. He's not going to be able to handle it. I ask this question. See, I go to the other side. I say, okay, yeah, can Canelo handle the smaller guy who's going to be faster, who's going to be slicker, who's going to be better defensively, who's going to have better legs, you know, who's going to be able, sometimes Canelo at this point in his career can slow down a little bit. They're both getting older. I get it.
Rather than making excuses or playing the underdog, Terence Crawford has approached concerns about size and strength with calm focus. He acknowledges the risks but refuses to dwell on them, seeing this fight as an opportunity to prove his full capabilities. For Crawford, it's not just a test of physical power, it's a mental and technical battle. His goal is to leave no doubt that he can dominate even outside his natural weight class. Floyd Mayweather also weighed in, reflecting on his own bout with Canelo. He reminded fans that he entered that fight as the smaller man but still controlled the ring with ease. His performance demonstrated that strategy, timing, and defense could neutralize sheer strength. Floyd's victory wasn't about size. It was about mastering distance, reading his opponent, and executing with precision. His story stands as a clear example that ring intelligence, when applied correctly, can overcome physical disadvantages. It's a lesson Crawford seems ready to apply.
After Canelo made the weight, it wasn't like it was a certain clause to where he couldn't gain weight. So after he weighed 152 or 152 and a half, I think he came in like 168 or close to 170. And actually I came in at probably like I probably came in at 151 and 152.
Gotcha.
But Roy Jones is one hell of a fighter. You know, I can't get on here and hate on his skills and knock his skills. He's been through a lot in the sport of boxing, and he's done a lot for the sport of boxing. And I'm absolutely proud of Roy Jones.
This is a very mature Floyd Mayweather we're talking to 10 years ago. I know.
Yeah, that's why I'm quiet.
You mean 20 years ago?
Yeah, I know what would have been said.
I had a different set of questions.
Drawing from his own experience, Floyd advised Crawford to focus on planning and execution rather than avoiding the fight. He emphasized that success depends on following a smart, calculated game plan and staying composed under pressure. Speaking as a seasoned fighter, Floyd stressed that beating Canelo isn't about raw power. It's about outthinking him throughout all 12 rounds with strategy and patience.
Crawford jumping up from 154 to 168 and beating this quote-unquote version of Canelo Álvarez would diminish the accomplishment that Floyd Mayweather accomplished beating his version of Canelo Álvarez. Is it two different versions of Canelo Álvarez? And obviously, Canelo Álvarez is 62 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 big wins by way of knockout. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He is obviously bigger. When Floyd fought him, it was at 152 catch weight, but it had no rehydration clause. So you might as well just say it was at 154. Now, two things they have in common is that Floyd Mayweather was 36, 37 years of age. Terence Crawford is 36, 37 years of age, going on 38. So he'll be 38 when he fights Canelo Álvarez. Floyd had already had 2 fights at 154. He had the fight with Miguel Cotto, and he had the fight with Oscar De La Hoya.
Crawford's coach, Brian Bulak McIntyre, addressed doubts about Crawford's resume by highlighting the quality of his past opponents. He stressed that many were highly respected before facing Crawford, who dismantled them cleanly and fairly without relying on weight advantages or questionable tactics. Bulak emphasized that Crawford's career has always focused on building a lasting legacy through honest, competitive fights, not shortcuts or easy paydays, showcasing his integrity and skill inside the ring.
Canelo Álvarez, it was interesting to see the comments from Canelo on how he sort of assessed Crawford's career. I almost feel after the Spence fight that was like an exclamation point on him. It was done maybe from the critics who never gave him credit. But it almost seems like Canelo was downplaying his achievement results. What do you make when you make that? Is that to build the fight? Because it sells itself.
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this. I think Crawford was everybody always say he hasn't fought nobody or everybody that he fought was no name. But I'm gonna tell you like this: what Crawford said, well, there was something until Crawford fought. So obviously he did a great job because he's making everybody look normal.
Not everyone will like to go against Canelo. I don't think there's anyone else in boxing who you would ask and say this is a possible task for Crawford. Apparently, no rehydration clause. Am I hearing that right? He wants full smoke at that weight.
Let's go, man. That's what Crawford wants. He wants to show the world that he's the best. So why put stipulations when you know that you can be the best? Let's go test ourselves.
Look, I appreciate you taking this time. We don't get to speak all the time, so it's good to get you over here. And maybe we'll catch up later in 5 weeks. I appreciate you. Thank you.
That's a wrap for today's video. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next update. See you soon with more content.